about staying healthy during the school year. Coming up next, we're going to take a trip to the grocery store with my favorite shopper, Maria Serrao, and pick out some healthy snacks. Stay with us.
Well, as promised, I have joined Liz here in Pavilions, and we are talking back to school and eating healthier.
Absolutely.
Now, Liz, I know that you have 3 kids, so you know what it's like to have to shop healthy for kids and for back to school. So I noticed you've already done some shopping.
We started right here in the best place in the house, which is the produce department.
Exactly, yep.
Because obviously we want to keep our kids healthy,
right,
their brains sharp. And I have not only 3 kids, I have 3 boys. They're always hungry.
Right.
And the thing is, you know, I mean, they want to grab that junk food and the sugary stuff, but that doesn't really keep them going. It's not really healthy fuel.
It's not, and especially when you're in school and you're in school all day, whether you're eating the lunch or after for a snack, you want to do something healthy.
So the goal is power foods. You know, obviously starting off with a great breakfast. We do a lot of fruit in our house. My house is always, if you open my refrigerator, one thing I always have, I have blueberries. I'm big on berries. Berries are power foods, lots of antioxidants. And you know what? The beautiful thing about these, they put them in their cereal. They'll put them in yogurt in the morning to start their day, and it's just fiber and all that good stuff. So I always have berries on hand. Of course, right now we're still in the good berry season. Also, oranges, cut up oranges. You can never have enough of these, especially for athletes, right?
Absolutely.
Just packing a snack. I'll probably cut them up in orange in 8 quarters, and maybe stick with them a nice healthy granola bar or something like that. As I mentioned earlier, morning start, along with cereal, I love this yogurt. The Greek yogurts are the rage, not just because I'm Greek, but they are amazing. In fact, Greek yogurt in my house gets used for a lot of things, not just for fruits, but I'll make dips out of it. It actually tastes like sour cream. Fat-free, low-fat,
and salad dressings as well.
Make salad dressings with it. It's always this is a staple in my home. Again, a lot of protein to that. Avocados.
Avocados are great for sandwiches.
Good in the morning.
Sandwiches are healthy.
Sandwiches are awesome. And so, you know, as we're talking about like the power foods you'll find in my house, again, would be you'd find lots of fruits and veggies, carrots. You know, kids love carrot sticks.
A lot of
kids just want to be busy with snack time.
I think so.
Lots of little things.
I noticed also that you picked up these salads.
Yes, this is sort of became the rage. I think last year, this sort of little bistro, small salads. They're usually a couple hundred calories. So my kids have these for a snack when they come home. It's not just a meal. This wouldn't be enough. But, you know, they're packed with a lot of protein. They usually have cut up turkey, they'll have beans, fiber with corn. The only thing you got to watch when you're buying these is where the fat gets too much is their dressing.
So maybe you want to either substitute that with a low-fat dressing, put it in a container or something like that, because they're a little bit much, and they have all different kinds, which is really cool.
And these have a great shelf life. You can keep these for a week. So I will literally pick up a half a dozen of these. And, you know, nowadays, you know, with kids having the choice at school, a lot of the schools have salad bars, which is wonderful. Do you eat all your vegetables, Maria?
I do pretty much, because I like vegetables. So I'm kind of a vegetable fruit girl. I always kind of like that. But I also do a sweet tooth, I have to admit, Liz. So what do you buy for your kids when they want something that's a little sweeter, that's not a candy bar? Because obviously that's not the good, not the good fat.
Right. Well, the thing is I try to choose, because all of my kids over the years have had to deal with weight issues. We all know right now obesity. A third of the kids in America right now are obese.
Too much.
And it's because they're eating too much sugars and all that, and then also not exercising enough. But anyway, for sweets, I pick things like graham crackers. Lower sugar, a better choice, because they're gonna want it. I pick things like healthier granola bars versus a candy bar.
I was going to say, and speaking of that, let's go over to where the granola bars are, because there's such a variety and we can pick some good ones out. How's that sound?
Okay.
Well, as you can see, Liz and I have invaded the granola bar slash cereal slash Pop-Tart aisle. Now, Liz, I grew up on Pop-Tarts, so did you.
We did.
But not...
We shouldn't admit it, but we did.
We did. But not a really great choice, especially when we've got all kind of granola bars that are much better for you.
And you're saying it's not a good choice for the Pop-Tart because obviously high fat, high sugar.
7 grams of fat versus 2 grams of fat per bar, which is much better, much healthier.
I mean, you've really been into nutrition your whole life, and you know, as we've seen so many trends, like kids are being told something different, you know, eat high carb, eat low carb, eat this and that. Would you say, obviously, you want to avoid fat?
You want to avoid high fat and a lot of sugar, calories. You want to look at that and kind of watch it. Like most of these are 90, which is really good. Let me see, this on here is 210 just for one, so that's really not a good choice. So we're not going to choose that.
And that's the kind of thing when your kid eats it in the morning, they feel great, and then 30 minutes later, their eyes are drooping in their classroom.
Right, exactly. So you want to like look at something like a bar. Maybe you can even put like 2 in a lunchbox and use for quick energy. And you've got Nutri-Grain.
My boys are big fans of these Nutri-Grain bars. They're about 120 calories.
There you go.
So, and they just, these things, they love them. I always have these in my house stocked up. And also I'm a big fan of the cashew granola bars. They have organic, they are lower in sugar, no high fructose. The bottom line is read. You got to come in,
you have to read the boxes. And listen,
nutrition labels
that you brought up, which is really important, is some of these have nuts, which makes them a little higher in fat, but nuts so good for you.
And of course, on the nut, that's a whole other story when we talk about nuts, especially in schools. There's kids with a lot of different nut allergies. You got to be really careful, especially if kids are sharing food. There are a lot of kids that do, unfortunately, have nut allergies these days. In fact, you know, they actually have nut-free tables at schools just to make that safe. As much as my kids actually enjoy peanut butter, a lot of protein, I don't send them to school with peanut butter sandwiches anymore because I'm always worried they're going to end up with a kid that has the peanut allergy.
But if you can eat the nuts, a great snack.
Yeah, nuts are excellent, excellent choice, and
very good.
They hold you, which is really nice, right?
They do.
And you have a favorite. You holding your favorite?
You know what? My actual favorite here are the new Kellogg's chocolatey pretzel ones. They're quick energy. They taste amazing. The old granola bars didn't taste too good. Kind of the cardboardy taste, but all of these really now are wonderful.
The thing with these becoming more of a staple now for kids, these kind of bars versus getting the candy bar.
Yes, exactly.
For me, the use of these are absolutely for snacks. My kids, this usually is not their breakfast choice, but it is breakfast on the go if you're stuck.
Exactly.
For my kids in the morning, they love to have that egg. You don't always have time for that.
Right.
So I'll tend to make now breakfast sandwiches the night before.
Good idea.
On a,
that's efficient.
On like a whole wheat English muffin, you can fry up an egg, melt a piece of cheese, wrap it up in foil, and they can warm it up in the morning. Love that, and it really holds them. You want to give your kids, again, a lot of protein.
And Liz, if worse comes to worse, right over here we have the cereal aisle.
Cereal is always quick, right?
Always good in the morning or for a snack as well, and it does have nutritional value and is really delicious. So,
and
just
one favorite cereal in our house, if we're going to have it, is hot cereal. And I have friends actually that make oatmeal in their crock pot the night before.
Wow.
You can throw oatmeal in a crock pot and turn it on low. When the kids wake up in the morning, you can sleep in a little if you need to, and throw in a little cinnamon and raisins, and that holds them too. It's all about keeping your kids fueled up so that they can come home with those straight A's.
Very good. All right, Lizzie, are we done here in the market?
We're done in the sweet treat aisle.
Okay.
But what happens with sweets? So we got to go to salty.
Salty,
it's all about
and the chips, which is kind of a trick. So we're going to show you the chip aisle now, right?
Okay, let's do it. So here in the chip aisle, I found a PV High senior, Will, who's getting ready for back to school, shopping for snacks. What do you like to take to school for food and snack?
I just like a sandwich, an apple, like keep it simple, and then maybe come home for like a little snack and then have dinner.
Right. Now, do you find though if you don't eat well that it does affect your performance in school? Do you see the relationship there?
Yeah, like if you don't eat healthy, you get tired easily, you get sleepy, you don't do as well. Like, yeah.
So you see a difference. So what's a breakfast for you in the morning when you start off your day?
I'm a cereal kind of person. Yeah.
And you said the ideal lunch, you pack a sandwich. You said you like tortilla chips, which is a good choice, low fat. We were talking a little bit about you're a milk drinker, and you like chocolate milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people say that chocolate milk keeps you more hydrated than water or even Gatorade.
So that's a choice for you. You excited for back to school, big senior year?
Yes, I'm very excited.
All right, well, have a great year. Thanks, Will.
Okay.
The chip aisle.
The chip aisle. Now, this is where things can get really dangerous really quickly because the old-fashioned chips, which of course are yummy and very oily. Okay, Fritos, 10 grams of fat in just a few chips versus a much better choice.
Right. Thank goodness for these baked chips.
Yes.
These weren't around when we were growing up.
They weren't.
They're tasty. Now, I'll be honest. The baked chip may not be as fun as the Fritos.
I think they're a lot of fun, actually.
But they are good. They're good.
They're good.
And the fact is, my kids, if I pack them a lunch, put in a sandwich, put in the fruit, put in the granola bar, and there's not the chip in there in the Ziploc baggie, they feel it's incomplete.
That's right. And Liz, look at you. You even showed me here.
That's what I get. These are a staple in my
snack bags.
I love them because they're usually 100 to 140 calories a bag. It's all measured out.
Yep.
They stay fresh. Not this route is a little bit saves on the
saves
wallet.
on money, right?
It's cheaper to do this and bag them in Ziploc bags.
But
one thing I want to say is what I do now with the kids, especially because I do serve them the baked chips, I send them a container of salsa.
Liz, you're spoiling
Not a
your
big
kids.
jar like this, but no.
From the shopping for nutrition to...
From snacks to the backpack.
There you go. We're gonna
I'll put the snacks in, and we got to fill up the backpack with all those pencils and pens, and we're going to go and...
We're gonna go check that out now, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna
do
get it
a
done.
little more back-to-school shopping.
All right.
Stay with us.